Merrily we roll along, 2025. This is a filming of a musical, an actual stage show that took place in 2024, and um, it's it's a revival of a long-standing stage show. I knew nothing about it. I didn't even know that it was a stage show when I bought the ticket. All I knew was, in fact, I thought it was it was going to be a Christmas film because Merry Christmas, that sort of thing. But it's based on an original play from 1934 by George S. Kaufman and Moss Hart, and it's been revived and reproduced multiple times, especially since the 70s and 80s. From a cursory look at Wikipedia, and from what I gather, there's a film adaptation which is going to be filmed over 20 years. It started in 2019 and it stars Paul Mescal as Frank Shepherd, Ben Platt as Charlie Kringus, and Beanie Feldstein as Mary Flynn. And because it's lasting over 20 years, it's like a really major undertaking. It's a bit like Boyhood, but probably even longer. Um, it's now this, so I guess it's the it's for added authenticity, although I guess it's going to be done backwards because there's a reverse chronology about the production. Certainly, the stage play that was on offer in tonight's film. Um, it's this film and the stage production stars Jonathan Groff as Frank Shepherd, Daniel Radcliffe as Charlie Kringus, and Lindsay Mendes as Mary Flynn. And the story, in essence, is about three characters and how their relationship, as well as their hope and zest for getting out their creativity, kind of falls apart. So we see the first element of the timeline is 1977. The final one is 1957. And we go back in 2 and 3 year stages. And I guess that's a bit like there've been quite a lot of films that do that, like Irreversible 2002, Memento 2000. Um, just watching people going from a state of uh, disquiet and happiness to a happier state. It kind of leaves you upbeat at the end, but then you realise because the film's in reverse order, it's just that their hope has been knocked out of them by those 20 years. They've fallen out as friends, that kind of stuff. Because when we first meet Frank, Charlie, and Mary, they're not even particularly friends. They don't get along. Mary's drinking. There's some sort of fighting going on, throwing stuff around at this party event or some sort of ceremony, but people aren't really happy. I guess that's the overall impression. But we roll back. So no, I think 1976. Yeah, we go back to 1973, um, and that's counted as the first transition. Um, Get to know at some point we get to know that the production's called Musical Husband, but, when we get back to the '50s, it's called Turn Left. Um, Now, to start with, I was feeling really, I was a bit disgruntled because I wasn't really in the mood for a stage play at the start. Feeling a bit worn out this morning. It's been raining, just, oh gosh, just unpleasant, really wet weather, cars splashing through puddles, uh, real long delays getting to Wood Green. Um, but when I started watching the film, the thing I really noticed, I was paying attention to the clothes they were wearing and what they were saying a bit, but it didn't really make much sense. But then Daniel Radcliffe does this long rendition with a percussive rhythm created by typing and a few other sound effects, and it really caught my attention. I mean, it's just like keeping up, because it being a stage play, m remembering all the lines, I think it's really impressive. I think things like, choreography, I just stuff like that really, impressed me, and and also actually watching the, changes on the stage because, I mean, they focus a lot, they hone in on the characters. I heard someone at the end saying that they wish that they'd shown a more wider view of the whole stage, um, so you could see the whole set, the set design. But I liked actually seeing close-ups of the actors and their expressions and just, um, that's the good thing about film. It gives you an intimacy that, you kinda miss out on, I think, in the cinema sorry, in the theater. I guess if you have, binoculars and you can look, you can probably see close up everything, but this is with cameras just panning in. But of course, it's curated by a particular director. I think she did a really good job. Maria, her name, I think. Oh gosh, um, ah, not sure. I know Stephen Sondheim did the song and the lyrics. Um, but I was drawn in by everything after this, so I really started paying a lot of attention, um, to the songs, the way everything gradually became more upbeat as we go back through from the '70s into the '60s and then into the '50s, and, just having enthusiasm and, gleefulness is really quite lovely. You know, youthfulness, I guess, people just starting out and things looking promising. Um Um, like, this one of the I can't remember which one of the, intermediate years, you can hear the audiences, I think it's in the '60s, you can hear they've got a tape recorder, so they record the sound. I mean, because there's, um, a baby being born, so, divided loyalties between being at an opening night and getting the rapturous applause. But missing out on the birth, actually being discouraged from being at the birth, which of course is what happened for fathers, certainly at that time. Don't think my dad stayed at home both when I was born and when my sister were born. So there's a load of other things that happen. There's like court hearings. There's um, there's a wedding. Possibly it's kind of shotgun wedding, I guess. Um, there's garnering would-be parent-in-law approval. There's the Kennedy Family Tree is like, a song to celebrate the new first family. I mean, that was in, I guess, 1960 when that election happened, um, when, Nixon lost. I think it was and that's when Kennedy won, way before I was born. But, it's, capturing the spirit of each era. And, the thing I liked the most was, of course, I mean, 1957 when, there's a rooftop scene, so you see stars in the set, and, um, there's they're watching out for Sputnik, because that's just gone up, the first, um, satellite, the first, artificial satellite. I mean, the moon's a satellite, but, yeah, the expressions have changed suddenly since the '70s when, the moon was called a satellite. Now we don't tend to we call other planets satellites are known as moons, but this was artificial satellites. This was, Sputnik, the first, human-made object launched into space, and they're on the roof looking out for it and seeing it go over. That would have been a momentous occasion, the start of the space age. So, um, 4th of October 1957, I believe. Um, but, there, at that point, I think I figured out the age one of the characters, Frank, would have been born in 1937, so he was about, around 20 at this point, so and at the end, 14, of course. Um, Life can be a school of hard knocks and, cause all the difficulties, but I really enjoyed it. I surprised myself how much I enjoyed it. I thought it was really good fun, and it was quite long. It was like, um the screening started 7:15. Well, that was with the ads and trailers, but 7:30, and it finished, just before 10, about, 10 to when the titles rolled, and 5 to when it finished altogether. And I kind of like the end credits as well because it was like that sort of, tape that you could print on. So that was a thing that I remember happened a lot. Certainly, it was around in the '70s, um, but would have been older technology. So there's a lot about it that, I really liked. The interaction of the characters, and not just the main three, but the other characters, as well, who have quite a role. Quite a few, at least the next three other characters are, and the actors who play them are pretty important as well. And, um, I'm going to score this 8.5, which is higher than I would have expected. I probably would have thought I was going to score it about 7.5. Once I knew it was like based on stage play, because set in one location. But I thought it was really well done. I enjoyed it a lot. It is quite long though, but, yeah, 8.5 is quite an enjoyable thing. Really great acting, um, and really well filmed, I think. So, kudos all round. I'd love to know what you think. Please leave comments. Thanks, for watching. Please like if you like this film review. Thanks if you subscribe. Please hit the notification button. And I hope to see you again soon. Bye for now.